Hello students, we are going to learn today inverse trigonometric function. Now let me ask some questions. What is the value of sine pi by 6? What is the value of sine pi by 4? What is the value of sine pi by 3? Of course, you would answer sine pi by 6 is 1 by 2. Sine pi by 4 is 1 by root 2. Sine pi by 3 is root 3 by 2. That means given an angle and finding the ratio. The sine function associates the angles with the ratio. This is sine function. This is general sine function. Now let me ask the question in a different way, in a different fashion. Sine inverse 1 by 2. Sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to what? That means we have to think of an angle whose sine value is 1 by 2. And your answer would be pi by 6. Sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to what? Now you have to think of an angle whose sine value is 1 by root 2. Of course, your answer would be pi by 4. That means sine pi by 4 is 1 by root 2. Similarly, sine inverse root 3 by 2. And your answer would be pi by 3. Here given a ratio, finding the angle. This is inverse sine function. Thus, how can we differentiate the general sine function and the inverse sine function? That is sine inverse function. In general sine function, there is an association of angle with the ratio. But in inverse trigonometric function, inverse sine function, there is a connection between the ratio and the angle. Hence, we conclude that if sine theta is equal to x, then sine inverse x is equal to theta. This is general sine function. This is inverse sine function. And this concept is applicable to all trigonometric functions. Thus, we have 6 inverse circular functions corresponding to each circular function. They are sine inverse x, cos inverse x, tan inverse x, cosec inverse x, sec inverse x, and cot inverse x. One thing is noteworthy, that is sine inverse is not equal to 1 by sine. This is just a notation without any notion of power. That means here inverse is something to denote. It is not a power. It is not an index in the exponential function. Now, since every inverse trigonometric function is a function and therefore it has its domain, and range. We have to keep in mind their domains as well as their range. Now here for general functions, general trigonometric function, and this is inverse trigonometric function. If we have a look over here, sine function is from the real number, the whole real number, to this interval -1 to +1. Sine inverse function is from -1 to 1 to -π/2 to π/2. Similarly, for cosine function, this cosine function is, here it is domain. Domain is the real number r, and its range is from -1 to +1. For cosine inverse function, here the range becomes the domain and the range is changed. These ranges that you see over here, it must be kept in mind to find the principal values of these general inverse trigonometric functions. Sine inverse 1/2. Now think of an angle whose sine value is 1/2, and you will find many more values. As for example, π/6, 5π/6, 13π/6, and many more. But the value which lies within the range is called the principal value. Thus, the principal value of sine inverse 1/2 is π/6. Why? Because it lies in the principal range of the sine inverse function or inverse sine function. What is the principal range of this inverse sine function? This is -π/2 to +π/2, and this value lies between the range. In order to know the principal values, we must keep in mind the range of the inverse trigonometric functions. तो आज हम यहीं स्टॉप करते हैं और फिर आगे की वीडियो के लिए आगे मिलेंगे. थैंक यू.